Steve, what happens in the month of April?
It's April Fool's Day, of course.
And we started our channel, right?
That's right.
But there's another large group of people that's growing every year who are recognized during the month of April.
That's right, it's Autism Awareness Month.
Yes, today there are 1 in 36 children who are being diagnosed as being on the spectrum. When we moved to Georgia in 2006, the numbers were 1 in 110. And I remember when it was 1 in 10,000. It was thought to be a rare occurrence, but it is becoming more and more common every day.
That's right. And you may not know if someone is on the spectrum with autism, or you may. And if you do you treat people on the spectrum with autism differently?
Oh, I'm sure you do. If you don't have a family member, a neighbor, I was working in the schools as a special ed teacher, and so I've worked with quite a few kids on the spectrum, as well as knowing them from the neighborhood, or Steve works with quite a few too.
I sure do. So I hire people who are on the spectrum, and I find that people on the spectrum really have a deep focus in doing their job and doing it right. I work with their life coaches, and they really help in getting any kind of task done because they can remain very focused in what they're doing.
Autism is a developmental disability caused by differences in the brain. So people who are on the spectrum are thought of as being neurodiverse, as opposed to people who are not on the spectrum who are neurotypical.
Exactly.
So they may have differences in social communication skills. They may have rigid routines or limited interests.
They can have different ways of moving, learning, or paying attention.
Hey, let's talk about our t-shirts. I love this one. This is my favorite. It says, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Be kind. Yes. And this one that says, just because someone carries it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy.
Be kind. So where did we get our t-shirts?
Well, we got these from a person named Jordan who creates the t-shirts, packages them, and actually she is on the spectrum, and her parents helped her start this company, and she folds every t-shirt and packages them to ship them out.
One of my former students made me aware of this business. The story is online under Jordan's summer shirt project. They started this as a summer thing because Jordan now is 23, and I believe they started 5 years ago. They were tired of hearing from the school what she can't do, that they want to know what can she do. So they started this t-shirt company thinking it was a summer thing, and it turned out to be lasting forever. These are very quality t-shirts, a little bit pricier than we paid, but the material is so soft, because that is one thing. A lot of people on the spectrum do have sensory issues where they are bothered by tags or rough material. So it is very soft, good quality shirts that will last forever. And we were thinking, how can we not support parents who are so supportive? That was just amazing to me that they did that. And a lot of people are wondering why so many children are being diagnosed. Is it an overzealous thing? Why are they being overdiagnosed? What causes kids to be born on the spectrum?
So it could be a couple of reasons. Actually, it could be a few reasons. And the first one is because the parents are older. That's a big one. The parents are up in age and they have a child. That child could be on the spectrum. It could be because a child is premature. That can also happen, and the child could end up being on the spectrum. The third thing that could happen is also very prevalent, and that is genetics. It could be passed down from generation to generation.
It's very common to run in families. When I was working in special ed, often we would have siblings in special ed. So it's very common that it has a genetic base. The other things are really guesses at this point. Nobody knows with 100% certainty for sure why kids are being born on the spectrum. Currently, the CDC is working on the largest study ever that they've been doing for years. It is called SEED, S-E-E-D. That's a study to explore early development. They're trying to get some answers into autism because it is becoming so much more common, and we don't know if it could be maybe the food we eat, the environment, pesticides. They don't know. So they are doing the largest study. A good deal of my information is from the CDC, and I'll put my other source on the screen as well.
So right now there's a 4-to-1 ratio of males to females of who is being diagnosed.
And that's been constant for the last decade, even while the numbers have been increasing exponentially. So what they think right now is just like with every condition, every medical condition, women have different symptoms and signs, like heart attacks. Well, with autism, it's the same way. Women tend to mask and follow their friends and go in packs or groups. So they hide a lot of their characteristics. We want to make you aware we're not medical professionals. We did find most of this information online, as well as our experience of working with people on the spectrum. Whereas males may be a little more obvious with their characteristics, so they're diagnosed. They may be more rambunctious. There are quite a few conditions that are comorbidities. That means that it's another condition along with autism.
Exactly.
And they are?
Anxiety, ADHD, depression,
learning disabilities, or OCD. Along with the comorbidities, there are many medical conditions that someone on the spectrum could experience. That's why it's very important to get a correct diagnosis if you have a child or know a child who might be on the spectrum, because these are health conditions that may need some diagnosis and treatment for them, such as?
It could be epilepsy, could be gastrointestinal problems, it could be Fragile X.
Which you could look that up because we're not familiar with that condition. But other things are sleep issues. They can't fall asleep, stay asleep, or sleep apnea is now being tied to autism. They're not sure, but they're leaning towards that there might be a connection between sleep apnea and autistic people. That doesn't mean if you have sleep apnea that you are autistic or on the spectrum. That means that if you are on the spectrum, you should be tested for sleep apnea. Because sleep apnea, as we've said in our other videos, cause a whole host of problems that are life-threatening and shortening your life. So that is very important to be tested for. But there's more other serious conditions that can be had if someone is on the spectrum. The other conditions could be
schizophrenia, bipolar,
Down syndrome, acid reflux, and they're finding out now that transgender people are 3 to 6% more likely to be on the spectrum. And as that increases and autism increases and knowledge increases, that number is sure to go way up.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is power. That's why everyone should try to be as aware of this as possible.
There's a lot of things to be knowledgeable about in the world, and this is one of them. To be well aware of autism and where it sits on the spectrum is important, and how to intermix with people who are on the spectrum is also very important, because people who are on the spectrum are people just like you and I, and there's no reason that you would treat anybody differently.
Often people on the spectrum are either unemployed or underemployed. And that doesn't help society as a whole, as we all need to be productive in society. They are able to work and do good, fulfilling jobs. So if you know someone, or if you have a position, think about hiring someone who's on the spectrum. Now, I'm going to share some books that if you want to become more knowledgeable, this will help you. And if you're a grandparent like us and you question whether your grandchild might be on the spectrum, we've got some books to help you out. Okay, the first one, this is free. From the CDC. It is Milestone Moments. This is a great one if you know anyone having a baby. You could just search CDC/free books, and this should come up. Order it, sent to your house for free. That is paid for by our government money. Take advantage of that. So this will list all the milestones at certain ages. It's very critical. If a child is missing these milestones, that's a red flag that perhaps they need to be tested, maybe for autism, maybe for some other developmental disability. Now, and autism is slightly different in that you can have a child that has all their skills or meeting all their milestones, so 18 months, it's quite common at 18 months, maybe even 24 months, that they lose skills, they regress. That is a big red flag for autism. Can be other things as well, but for autism, if they lose their speech or something else, they were walking, now they're not, that is something you need to tell the pediatrician. If you're taking care of a child, tell the parents, so they tell the pediatrician and they're checked for autism. So this is a great thing to give to any expectant parent. Now, they have other good books.
This is a book for age 1.
For example, this one has milestones embedded in the story. It says that a child should point at 1 year of age, 12 months or 1, and then it gives you hints to help the child meet this milestone. So the child's not pointing at 1, you know that that is a concern. That's something to mark in the milestone book. They have these books at ages for 1, 2, and 3-year-olds. This is the 1-year-old one. The 2-year-old one is always gone. I have not been able to get one, but this is the 3-year-old one.
Here's the 3-year-old one. And that's an interesting book. Look for that cover.
That again is online for free, CDC/free books. It has the milestones at the bottom. It has a picture of the child playing, and it says the child should be playing with other kids by 3. So some kids may not meet all the milestones. That doesn't mean they're autistic. They may be ahead on some, behind on some. It's if you don't meet a substantial number of them is when you get concerned. However, if you are concerned and they are meeting all their milestones, but you're still concerned, you need to talk to the child's doctor and get the child assessed, because these are not the most comprehensive. They're a good checklist, but a mother or father always knows if something is wrong. They know in their gut that this child needs to be checked out, and you want to get the early intervention so that the child can learn to deal with the weaknesses. Because it's a spectrum, each person with autism or on the spectrum, each person is going to be different. Some will be weak. Quite a few may be weak in communication skills, but some might actually be strong. They may have other things like not looking somebody in the eye, or having sensory issues, not being able to eat a lot of foods, have a very limited diet. That often leads to the GI problems that we mentioned. Have meltdowns when they change, usually in transitions. They like rigid routines. They like to know what's expected. They like schedules. So when they switch, they may have what you call a temper tantrum, but sometimes it's known as an autistic meltdown. Now we've got some great other books to share as well.
This is my favorite book.
And I think I bought this at Target, but you could buy it online at a number of stores.
Whoever thought cats were on the spectrum?
That's not putting down cats or autistic people. This book is designed to be a great book to teach children. If you're a teacher or a parent with other young children, this is a good, quick way to explain autism to other family members so that they can understand it better. It's because of copyright issues, we were not able to read it to you, but it'll show you a picture and show you the differences. Maybe one cat or the autistic person may want to play alone, or they may dress uniquely, or they may not eat a certain food, or they want that routine. So this is a book that is designed to share with other people to learn what it means to be on the spectrum. But we've got some other great books as well.
What I'm going to show you are 2 books that a mom wrote due to our kids being on the spectrum. The first one is Daniel Finds His Voice. And the second one is Brandon Spots His Sign. And they're both very interesting in reading. If you have kids, you can read them to your kids. You can get these online.
And the next one is
Temple.
Who is Temple Grandin? We've seen a movie about her. She is an older person who was diagnosed really at an early time. I believe she lived in maybe Boston, and they have a lot of money up there and facilities to diagnose, because it was unusual to be diagnosed back then. But she worked with animals, and she progressed quite far with her work. She's She's kind of a spokesperson for autism. She's accomplished quite a bit. Her mother said once she did start getting big and started doing speeches, she actually was able to communicate better. So you can learn skills even as you're older. You can communicate better and get more and more skills as you're older just by having those interactions.
Right.
Many kids will go to therapy for to try to downplay what neurotypical people see as weaknesses, or to communicate better. Now, there's so many people on the spectrum who have achieved so many great things. Can you think of anyone? And their way of thinking, their different way of thinking. Like I think Bill Gates thought he was, and Elon Musk,
Right.
and who they thought Thomas Jefferson probably was. I think a lot of these, I mean, because it is a spectrum. You could be super intelligent or you could have a low intelligence. But some of these people who achieve really, really great things thought they were on the spectrum or were definitely on the spectrum. And I'll put a list of some of the people because there are quite a few
Right.
people. When people think there's a prejudice against people on the spectrum, you think, well, we wouldn't have a lot of these inventions without
That's
these
true.
people on the spectrum. It's a different way of thinking. They deal with things like the engineering type personality maybe who doesn't like conversing with people but likes things.
Right.
So what I'm saying is you may have known many people already, but we're not aware of it. But many of our great inventions come from people who were on the spectrum.
That's true. You never know it.
So we hope that we've enlightened you a little bit. If you think you know someone, if there's a child in your life who you think might have some of these issues, please let the parents know, or let if you are the parent, let your child's doctor know, because as it's 1 in 36 today now, I was reading that ADHD is about 1 in 10, a little higher than 1 in 10, so that's much more common than autism, but a lot of people on the spectrum are also experience ADHD as well.
That's true. We hope that we've provided enough information and sparked your interest to where you'll do your own research and try and help anyone who you think might be on the spectrum and needs help.
Yes, if you come across them working in the grocery store or in an office or delivery service, treat them with respect. They get their feelings hurt as well.
Very true. So that's why be kind
To everyone.
to everyone.
Yes. I mean, everyone carries a heavy load. If it's not autism, it could be anything else.
Right.
Everyone has struggles in their life. That's why I like this t-shirt. It doesn't have to just apply to autism, but we all have a heavy load. We try to be joyful and we try to be kind.
That's right.
Until we see you again.
Take it easy. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, and thumbs up
And be kind.
to everyone.